Approximately 9 days before the Olympia, I was involved in a carjacking where two cars pulled up one car on each side of me, and two people got out of the car. On the driver's side, one young man had a gun, and on the passenger side, the other guy had some martial arts sticks that are called screamer sticks. The person with the gun pointed it at me and told me to exit the car. I got out. I took my keys with me. I'd already decided in my head that I wasn't going to let this happen. I got out of the car, I took my keys with me, I locked the door. That pissed them off. The guy in the passenger car, on the side of the car, yelled at me, to throw him the keys. I threw the keys at him. He missed them. That's, kind of startled him. I did it on purpose. I didn't have intentions on just giving them to him. That startled him. At that time, the guy that had the gun, that distracted him, and he looked over to see what happened. And when I seen that it distracted him, I grabbed the gun. We fought, and I don't want to get into what happened between me and the two people, because I don't feel that it's important. Basically, the outcome of it was, I sustained some injuries. They both sustained more serious injuries than I did, to the point where they didn't have a need for a car anymore. When I left, the two people were still down. I don't know the extent of their injuries, or whether they are doing all right or not. I didn't really care at the time. So I went home. I talked to my wife about it. She tried to talk me into going to the hospital. I refused to. I took some pain pills, and I pretty much passed out until the next afternoon, which makes it now Friday afternoon. Friday afternoon, she had to rush me to the hospital because I was in a lot of pain and I was swollen. I was in the hospital for a few hours. They treated me. There was a police report taken and everything. I left the hospital. I took the cast off that they had. And I made my decision that, at that time I was 7 days away from the contest, and I wasn't going to give in to anything stopping me. So I increased the amount of Vicodin that they told me to take, which, enabled me not to feel anything. I went to the gym Saturday just to see how I felt down here by my house where nobody knew me. And I did a couple hours of cardio and I felt okay. So Sunday I went into Venice and I trained with Charles Glass. Monday I trained again with Charles Glass, and I posed for Mitsuru in a magazine while I trained. But later that evening, I don't know, be it an adverse effect of the Vicodin or just whatever, for whatever reasons, later on that night my wife ended up having to rush me back to the hospital. And because of the seriousness of my condition, they ended up keeping me Monday night, Tuesday night, and Wednesday evening. And I convinced them Wednesday to allow me to go and address the IFBB, that I wouldn't be able to compete. And they did that under the agreement that I would return Thursday morning to complete my tests. Thursday I went back in. They kept me for a few hours. They ran more tests. I haven't got the result of those tests yet, and they released me. And I went to the show Friday and I addressed the public Saturday night. And it was a bad decision on my part to try and mask what happened. I regret that now. It was a bad decision to take on the two people. I should have just gave them the card, but of course, hindsight is worth a million words, and I can't relive the situation or change it. Because of it, I was forced not to be able to compete. And I guess probably because of me going back in the gym and acting like nothing happened, it caused speculations that, the whole situation didn't happen. But basically the speculations are coming from people who don't really care for me or respect me anyway, which don't really bother me. everyone who knows me or respects me know completely that, you know, it's not a lie. But then again, in 1994, people were speculating that I faked my car accident and that, you know, I just didn't want to compete, you know, in Olympia that time. And basically my comment to them is, you know, I don't really care. At first it bothered me that, you know, they didn't believe me, but, you know, they really should be more or less happy that I wasn't able to compete. I know they were speculating, saying that I wasn't in condition, and that's the reason why I withdraw. But once they buy the On the Road to the Video 1997, they'll witness how I looked that Monday, and they'll know that, you know, I was nowhere near out of shape and completely in command of striking range. And I've made my decision already, along with Charles Glass, that we will assault next year's contest, is that we basically are just declaring war. I feel very motivated and amped after seeing the competition, and I feel that I can do very well against him. So come 1997, I will be entering the Ironman, and I will be making it 5 times that I've won that contest. The next week I will be in the 1998 Arnold Classic, and I will make that the 2nd time that I've won that show. I will enter the San Jose Pro Show the weekend after that, and I will make that the 2nd time that I've won that show. And I will enter the 1998 Mr. Olympia, wherever it is, and I will be victorious, and I will win that show. As I promised the audience and the media, you can take my word on it as an athlete, as a man, as a Christian, and as a force of nature, that I guarantee all that I say will be true. And I will prove it. I have no doubt in my mind. And if you do, just show up at any of those shows and you'll find out. And if you don't believe me, then bring your ass and you'll find out what happens.